My name is Sister Donna Paliff, and I'm an educator of the Sisters of Notre Dame. The educational heritage of the Sisters of Notre Dame dates back to Reverend Bernard Overberg, who began a teacher training institute. Our founding sisters were well educated in his renowned school and learned his methodology. Father Overberg's way of teaching developed from his desire to meet the needs of the students so all could learn. This was based on his own experience and difficulties as a child. Because of his Catholic upbringing and his vocation to the priesthood, his approach to education and all of his educational directives have God playing an integral part. So it is no surprise that the first of the four central principles of SND education is the centrality of a good and provident God. What does this mean? For those whose lives are faith-based, this is a fairly clear idea. God is central in our lives. God always loves us and wants good things for us. God will always care for and provide for us. God is awesome. These are things we have been taught from early on. Even if and when we have had times when we did not believe or have confidence in these truths, they are ingrained in us and come back almost automatically when we are the most honest with ourselves or when we find ourselves in circumstances that have no other answers. As a teacher in a faith-based school setting, this principle, the centrality of a good and provident God, can also be expressed fairly easily. There will always be the freedom to speak of God. There will always be prayer as part of the day. There will always be symbols of faith. There will always be a deep respect for the vastness of knowledge and our ability to learn, to think, and to discover as something coming from God. There will always be activities to address the needs of all God's children, especially those less fortunate. In a faith-based school, there is a built-in motivation, and that motivation is always present by the very fact that all in the school community are part of a God and neighbor-oriented atmosphere. Being in a Catholic college with educational principles that are Catholic-based, this is what you too will receive. But you may not be faith-based yourself, or you most probably will not be teaching in a faith-based school. However, the core message of this principle can and needs to be part of any educator in any setting. In order to be good, successful teachers in any school, we ourselves need to be centered, to be grounded, constantly growing, but pretty solid within ourselves. We ourselves need to cultivate that respect for knowledge, that excitement about learning, that inquisitive, critical thinking mind. We ourselves need to be aware of and responsive to the needs of our community and the world, and help our students to be responsive also, so they can be good people, good citizens, good neighbors. We need to be centered, grounded, consistent. One of the key things children, whatever age, need to find in us are adults who are stable and focused. They come to school to find a safe, supportive place, no matter what their living circumstances are. They may be dealing with actual physical poverty. They may have abuse or illness at home. They may have affluenza. They may have little love. As adults in their lives who are outsiders, we can provide an image of an adult who has it together. The accomplishment of graduating from college with direction in our lives, with the knowledge of how to be a professional person, how to engage a class, how to impart knowledge in an understandable way, is an example to them. This comes from being centered or grounded or self-possessed. Call it what you may. It is something we achieve through our own personal reflection or meditation or prayer. Personal quiet time. Maybe the time that is best comes early in our day or before going to bed. Maybe the ride to or from work is a chance to have quiet time with no music or conversation. But it is important and necessary to make the time. That sense of purpose in life will come across loud and clear through our demeanor. Who we are as educators is just as important as what we teach. Children come to school to find a place and teachers who will be consistent, the same, no matter the day, no matter what else is going on. The classroom is a place where they are suspended in time. They do not need to be dealing with whatever else is happening in their lives. Our consistent patterns in running the classroom, our consistent way of dealing with them, is a gift we provide for them. It does not mean we are not aware of their concerns. It does not mean we are not personable. But the students should not be worrying about their or our problems. There are things we can do to provide this consistency. Come on time and be prepared. Be ready to go the night before. Give enough time for getting to school. Be ready to start when the bell rings. Have a solid prepared lesson. That shows seriousness about learning. That shows respect for the students and their time. Winging it doesn't work. That is what they see in other places. Just getting through the day doesn't work either. Having a sense of where the class is headed allows us to answer questions thoughtfully and knowledgeably. Be realistic about the work expected of the students. Respect them and their time. School is not the only thing in the students' lives. They need family time and socializing activities. Also, be clear about expectations. When requirements and deadlines for an assignment keep changing, that sends a message. You will hear these things again and again in different contexts, but here we are focusing on them as helping us be centered and consistent. We need to be in awe of all there is to know. We need to be excited about learning and using good thinking skills. We come to teaching prepared in our subject matter, always needing to learn more, but prepared enough to convey the subject to the students. The vastness of knowledge in so many areas reflects the vastness of God, even though we may not be able to say that directly. But a wow goes a long way in conveying that awe. It may come after a difficult problem that the class works through together. As a math teacher, it was amazing and satisfying when together we worked through a complex equation covering the entire board and got a simple result like x equals 5. And it really was the correct answer. A piece of literature may leave the class silent, deep in their thoughts. A discussion may provoke very profound insights from the students' thinking. A science experiment makes real the concepts that were studied. A student connects sounds with words and reads for the first time. These are wow moments. There are so many places in education for that wow factor. Practice and also experience helps us catch those moments, recognize them, and point them out. We too need to be an example of excitement about learning. It's okay to be a little crazy saying, "Boys and girls, just wait till you see what we're going to learn today." That puts everyone on notice. If a supervisor or peer teacher gives some advice or suggestions or criticisms, it is okay to present that. I want to try something different today and see if we all like this way of learning better. Or we may have to say, after the hard time we had, I thought about this last night. Let's have a do-over of what we tried to learn yesterday and see if we can all do better. That reflects openness on our part to learn and keep working at things. We need to be aware of and responsive to the needs of our community and the world. Taking a few minutes at the beginning of the day or class to ask what are today's concerns can keep everyone grounded. A response of let's keep this in our thoughts or let's show our support today by being kind to one another recognizes that we are all in this one world together. Sometimes a situation can spark a project for the class or several classes or even the whole school. We've seen on the news stories about teachers and classes that have done collections or fundraisers for various causes because of something that came up in class. If you yourself are part of an organization that does service, or you are participating in a run for a cause, or you volunteer at a church or with a group like Kiwanis, those things provide an example to the students. Students of every age need to learn how to give back. It may just start by learning how to share. Most have been recipients of everything in their lives so far. School is a place where they can start to give back and learn the skills that will carry them into adulthood. Students learn that the world is bigger than themselves. They learn that what they do, no matter how small, does make a difference. They learn that what we see on the outside isn't always the whole story. Everyone deserves our respect. As I said earlier, in a faith-based situation, the motivation for helping and caring for others is a no-brainer. But even without focusing on a religious motivation, we help and care and respect others because we are part of one world. Right now, our world may be this small classroom, but the lessons learned there will mature as the students mature. They will grow into responsible citizens. So to pull all this back together, what does the centrality of a good and provident God mean for educators? It means that we are grounded and consistent in ourselves. It means we are constantly learning and in awe of the vastness of knowledge. It means we respect and care for others as world citizens.